Hey, it's Greg, and in this episode we are going to talk about the totals in Power BI. So, have you ever experienced a case that the total displayed at the bottom of your table or at the top of your stacked column chart was kind of inaccurate, or would you say unintuitive? I have also experienced this, and in this video I want to show you how to fix it quickly and make the total exactly what you expect it to be. Let's get into it. For the sake of our example, I have created this example dashboard. That's really simple, just has two slices in the top right corner and the table. So in this table, we've got the continent names and some kind of metric, a KPI that I have created. In this case, it's the number of unique products that were sold on the first day of the year or whenever the sales started in a given continent. So you could see that, okay, it's a measure, it's a KPI for the different continents and takes different values, doesn't it? But when we actually go to the total level, well, 810 might be a kind of a surprising result because we would expect that this would be much, much higher because we would expect conceptually and intuitively that the total would be just the sum of these three values. And these three values, well, we can see with the naked eye that they are in total more than 810. And we would expect just the total to be the sum of the individual cells. That's what Excel does, basically. The totals there are very straightforward. It just takes in each individual cell and adds up. That's the total, or does an average of that or so. But unfortunately, Power BI has its own way, that's to be precise, of computing totals that might not act very intuitively in cases like this, in semi-additive or non-additive measures, to be precise, and this is one example. So what we can do about it is we literally need to tell Power BI that do not compute the total the way you do it, regardless how are you doing it. Let's not dig into too much details. But instead of computing the total your way, please do it our way and just take all these three values, sum them up, and please produce the total out of that. How do we do it? It might have sounded a bit difficult, but it's actually very straightforward. Let's try to alpha a new measure. I will call it number of products, intuitive total. And what we need to do? We need to sum up the individual values. So we will use an iterative function that's called sumX. And now, as the first argument, we need to pass the rows that Power BI will be summing. So we say something like values. That's literally the individual values that Power BI will be seeing in the columns. And the name of our column that we see here is continent name. So we literally tell Power BI to, hey, go over the rows that you see from this table, from this column, continent name. So the ones that we see basically in our report, whatever column you would have there. And then for each of the row, please compute our metric that is called number of products sold on the first day. That is just this metric. That's how I have called this measure. And then once you have the individual values of 720, 446, and so on, please just sum them up and return the total. Let's see how did it end up. A new measure was added. And we can see now in the measure with the kind of more intuitive total that it is indeed 1,400, so more like what we would expect. I'm not delving into details of whether we should be doing it that way or not, if it's logical in business terms and correct. I just wanted to show you how do you get around this. In case you would like this to be the total to be not a sum but an average, for example, we can also very easily adjust it. So instead of the sumX function, we would use average x. So now we should get a number that's around 400 as the total instead. And here we go. In case that is how you would like to aggregate your individual cells to a total, this is how it will work. And using this method is also very easy and quick because it doesn't require major updates to your logic. You just need to say what is the column that you will be summing or doing an average over. And this method also doesn't impact the individual cells. So that's a relatively quick fix in case you needed that. Thanks, and see you in the next episode.